Hey guys, welcome back. How's it going? It is Sunday night and I have been racking my brain for the last few days trying to figure out what video I wanted to do for you guys. I actually had a situation today that sparked an idea that provided me a word that I want to do. So today's word is history. Um, I know, boring. I'm not a history buff. I'm not a fan. Really not. um, I I think the extent of my history knowledge is Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, and if it didn't rhyme, I probably wouldn't remember that. At any rate, we're going to do history today. The reason that I decided to do this word is because I had a couple over today. I do some dog sitting on the side, and they brought their beautiful little puppy over. Puppy, he's 7 years old, um, but his name is Mushu. And so we were sitting out back in the yard and letting all the dogs get to know each other and whatnot. And I had let her know that I am currently enrolled to start school tomorrow for my teaching degree. And she said, "Really? I'm a teacher." So, what are the odds? At any rate, she is also an early childhood education teacher, which is the major that I have declared for myself. So I had let her know that that was my major and asked if she had any advice or tips or tricks or whatever. Because, you go get the education, but at least when I was a computer programmer, you could go and get all the knowledge you want out of the books and take all the classes that you want. But until you're in the real world, you just don't know what you don't know, right? So her advice to me, there was two things really. The first bit of advice, which I'll just share with you because I thought it was fucking brilliant, um, is at the beginning of the year when the kids first come into class, you have to be the Wicked Witch of the West. And when you send the kids off to their next grade, you get to be Glenda the Good Witch. I thought that was brilliant. Anyway, the second piece of advice, she told me about a little boy that had stolen her heart. His name was Dante. And he had a problem with hitting other kids. He would give you the warning, right? So he would, like, his face would get all red, his ears would get red, he'd clench his hands. And she actually is one of the few teachers, which I admire, that took the time to called his mom and said, I need to understand a little bit more about his story. And the minute she said it, I thought, that's history, right? And then I thought about the phrase, like, if you don't, what is it? History is doomed to repeat itself. And I thought, how interesting. If I take history is doomed to repeat itself and make it his story is doomed to repeat itself. That was interesting. So anyway, so that's how I got on the word history. So if you are not new to the channel, you know what the first thing we're going to do is. We're going to look it up in the dictionary. So the definition of history is a chronological record of significant events, such as those affecting a nation or institution, often including an explanation of their causes. I'm going to withhold my comments on that one for right now. The next is a treatise presenting systematically related natural phenomena as of geography, animals, or plants. And the example in that is an illustrated history of North American birds. An account of a patient's medical background, like a medical history. An established record, a prisoner with a history of violence. Another definition, a branch of knowledge that records and explains past events, medieval history. Another one, events that form the subject matter of a history, the history of space exploration. Events of the past. History has shown that such efforts rarely succeed. One that is finished or done for. The winning streak was history, like your history. Previous treatment, handling, or experience as of a mental, a history of repeated exposure to freezing temperatures. Now, synonyms for this word are account, chronicle, chronology, commentary, narration, narrative, record, report, or story. Now, I'm actually going to look up story because none of these definitions, although it is a chronological accounting of events that happened in the past, Okay, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm not talking about history books or nations or any of that, wars and stuff like that. So, definition of story is an account of incidents or events, a statement regarding the facts pertinent to a situation in question. Okay, so that I like. Um, if you take that and combine it with the history definition, the chronological accounting of events regarding the facts pertinent to a situation in question. So I just took the two definitions and kind of mashed them together. And that to me is what um, I would like for myself and my subconscious for history to mean, right? So when I say history, right away, we all thought school, right? History books, wars, presidents, all the um, historical events that took place in the context of our country, that we were forced to learn in school. Um, I am actually attempting to look at it in a different way. I want to reprogram my subconscious to look at people's history, right? So in my current career choice, like I said, I am going to school for my teaching degree, but I am a holistic practitioner. So a lot of times, most of what I do in my job is I let people talk about their stories, their backstories. I call them their backstories. But really, it's their history, right? You don't know what you don't know. And when Mandy, the lady that was over today, was telling me Dante's story, it seems that he had an older brother with special needs. And he had been, um, Sadie, sorry, I think my puppy has a chicken bone. Stella, Sadie, come here. Let me see. What do you got? What do you got? Okay, you're good. Sorry, guys. I don't want her chewing on chicken bones. All right, anyway. So the reason she might be chewing on a chicken bone, I make their food. Yes, I am a very codependent puppy mom, and I gave them some shredded chicken and rice tonight. So I'm just worried that I didn't get all the bones out of it. Anyway, sidetrack. Back to Dante. Um, his older brother's special needs, and his role in the family was to protect his brother, right? Because as special needs student, he tended to get picked on a lot. So Dante took it upon himself to be the protector. And it's funny that we were talking about it at the time because we were noticing the four dogs. I have three dogs and she had one, obviously, and just seeing how they interacted, right? And my older dog, the bigger one, Dakota, her role is protector. So she was the one dog I was concerned about being semi-aggressive when the new dog came to visit. Anyway, more sidetracking. The point being, once Mandy understood Dante's story or history or backstory, she was better able to help him learn how to socialize, really. This is in first grade. And so she explained to Dante that, it was her job to correct a situation if someone was doing something wrong. And it took her doing that with him, him seeing her do that in place of him, for him to trust her. Now, had she not gone above and beyond to get his history, his backstory, where does Dante end up in third, fourth, fifth grade, 12th grade? It's that tweak. We talk about the tweak of a word, the tweak of your subconscious. It's one phone call. What did it take her? Maybe 10 minutes out of her day to pick up the phone and call the mom and find out what the history was. The other thing that did was give her compassion, right? So she no longer saw him as an aggressive little boy that was angry for whatever reason. She saw him as a very strong, loving boy who was protecting his brother. And giving it that perspective, I think, it I don't want to say it gives compassion, but it adds a level of understanding that allows for compassion when we, in situations that we normally would find it difficult to portray the compassion that we need to show everyone. right? And so in other parts of my day, I was speaking with my cousin, who just recently moved in with me, and it's a new situation, right? So there's speed bumps, there's um, speed bumps. We're gonna leave it at that. We had a bit of a disagreement a couple days ago, and um, luckily both had the presence of mind to give each other the space that we needed, and came back together today and gave a little bit of our backstories to each other, because even though we're family and we've known each other since the day he was born, he's younger than me. um, we've both been through things that the other one didn't know about. And when situations arise, um, we have a tendency to think, if the other person is angry or if the other person is negative in any way, that we are the cause of that. um, I guess we think that because we don't know the history behind where it came from. And those of you that are spiritual and do what is popularly called shadow work, it is really reliving your history. And I guess that's where we get the not reliving it. I'm sorry, that I'm going to correct that. It's not reliving it. It's revisiting it in a way that is non um, revisiting it in a way that is more observant rather than an active participant. And when you can do that, and you take the emotion out of it, and you take yourself really out of it, then you're able to look at those situations and not take them personally, which is I think at the core of a lot of misunderstandings in the world. But anyway, um, at any rate, when you have an understanding of someone's history, then you know why they're doing the things that they're doing, and you can understand it, and you can help them cope better, I guess, or maybe give them an option, another way of surviving, right? Because when we go through these things as children or adults or whatever, whatever your history is, um, whatever trauma or whatever it is that you may have endured, that forced you to act in a certain way to survive. Um, when you are triggered, and that's another word that maybe we'll do a video on that, because I don't think a lot of people understand what trigger means, because right away they think it's a negative thing, and it's not. Or it doesn't have to be, I should say. It can be negative. Some people can take it as negative, but it is a noticing. It's an awareness. It is a it's turning the light on in a dark room in your mind, and understanding and noticing why your reaction that's this big to a situation that is this big is happening. And when you can have the awareness to understand that the person across from you at the time that you're interacting, when their reaction is bigger than the situation, you can take yourself out of it, and not take things personally, and um, know in your heart that they were triggered, right? They're not in the present moment. Their reaction, their whole, they just time traveled back to whatever situation it was that taught them to act that way. And it gives you a capability, I guess I would call it, of being able to sit quietly and let them go through it. That's a big statement nowadays. Oh, I'm going through it. Well, I guess my dog's going through it. Girls, enough. Thank you. Dakota. Hi, puppy. Hi. It's okay. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. I think someone pulled up in the parking lot outside. Anyway, when you have that understanding, and you have the capability of being the observer and not taking it personally, and understanding that the person was triggered, then you can provide a safe place for them to understand it, to react whatever way they needed to react and not give them the validation that they need it now as well, right? They didn't, that was a survival technique that was created to survive a specific situation that's over now. And you can bring them back to the present. And sometimes, like in our case, my cousin and I, we were both triggered, and it took us 2 days to come back to the present. So it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not easy. And you're not going to be perfect at it. You're not. Just know that now. You will get triggered. You will be around people who are triggered. And you're not going to handle it right, or well, or perfect, or whatever the word that you want to use is, but you'll handle it and you'll get through it. And it will become tomorrow, it will become part of your history that you can then revisit tomorrow again. So I guess for me, this whole rabbit hole was about reprogramming that word in my subconscious to be his story as opposed to history. And I definitely was enlightened to the fact that we seldom, as much as we think we know people, we seldom know the whole story when it comes to somebody's history. And we should maybe give the other person a chance to explore, explain, and heal. And that's what we do as healers, right? I do consider myself to be a healer, which is not, I don't think it's an accurate word for what I do, because I don't heal people. I don't. I give them a safe place in which they can heal themselves, because that's what healing's all about, really, at the end of the day. And I can't force you to heal. I can't give you a magic pill, nor do I want to. I really don't, because if I did, I'm creating robots, and that's not what I want. This channel is about making you guys feel safe enough to think for yourselves. So this week's challenge, or this day's, or whatever, I don't know when I'm going to do the next video. My classes start tomorrow, so they could get a little sporadic. But think about your own history. Think about why you do the things you do. Were you taught those things, or was it something that you invented to survive? Or was it something that you admired in someone else and you took that on as your own? And think about what the word history or backstory or triggers and those kind of things. Think about what those things mean to you and how you define them. And what do you do when confronted with those type of things? Take 10 minutes, journal, write about it, sing about it, dance about it, whatever. Give it some attention, give it some energy, and come up with your own way of rewriting that in your subconscious mind. Because at the end of the day, history is nothing more than, 7 letters mashed together to create a word to put a meaning on. So instead of history, maybe make it his story. That's what I'm going to do. At any rate, guys, I'm going to go because now I'm babbling. But think about what we said, what I talked about, and try it. And if you're not successful, try again tomorrow, because all we can do is learn and grow. And learning and growth doesn't come when you're comfortable. It comes when you're uncomfortable. Remember that one too. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I love you so, so much. Reach out, drop some comments in the comment section below. My details are below for my holistic shop. So feel free to reach out for that as well. And like, share, subscribe. Sorry, I knew I was forgetting to say something. Like, share, subscribe. And yeah, and that's it for today. So with that, I bid you adieu and grow your words and taste your language. Bye for now.